Over the last 4 years, I've helped hundreds, if not thousands of people make the move to Australia. Making such a life-changing move isn't easy, so to help you out, over the last 2 years, I've had real people who have made the move down under as guests on my podcast to share with you the highs and the lows and what it really takes to say, fuck it, I'm gonna move to Australia. This is their 8 best pieces of advice for anyone looking to make the move themselves. Adam and Annie moved to Melbourne in 2022 with their young son, after a lightning fast move that took them less than 6 months. What advice do they have for people?
Just take it day by day, be very organised. I had endless lists going and just ticking things off day to day, like little things. It's like little by little and you end up...
Any advice for the children? Like if people are doing it as well with young children?
I think about, because that's been a big thing for us moving, knowing that Isaac will have a better life, knowing that although it's going to be difficult in the short term, it's going to be a long term of a better future, really. But
yeah, when it was difficult getting things done, I just kept saying to myself, like, it's going to be worth it. Once, like, one day we're going to be sat in our house in Australia or on the beach or whatever, and it's all going to be worth it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that if I could hammer home one thing to people even thinking about it, it would be, so this is kind of split up into 2 things, but ultimately, I know it sounds cliche, but if you can do it and you want to do it, to just do it, as hard as it is, and I'm someone who I find paperwork and stuff like that really difficult, just to read and interpret all the information, but to know that I've done that, and I did it myself with a little bit of help from money, that it's been so worth it, because, and if you can do it, just do it. But also to know that you aren't responsible for how your family take it. We've been lucky with how our family have responded to things. I know a lot of people back home have said, I'm jealous, I would have loved to have done that, I wish we could have done that years ago. But, like family and stuff, I think a lot of people feel responsible for needing to be around their parents to look after them. I think that's what I'm just getting a general consensus that people say.
Not everyone, but most people that we tell that we're moving, their response is like they're jealous or that they wish they could have done it. So I would say just it would be worse for someone to, get older and then think, oh, I've missed my chance. I can't. Because especially the age limits and things on the visa, you don't want to miss out.
Yeah, I think that's definitely...
I regret not doing it.
Sam moved over to the Gold Coast with his girlfriend Harry and has some great advice about your mental state that can make your move 100% more successful.
We touched on it earlier. I would say before you move or consider moving anywhere, you need to be happy in what the situation you're in. You need to be happy with yourself and you need to be semi-happy with your life, because if you're trying to escape something or escape any kind of sadness or depression or stress or anything that, is related to you that you can control, you're going to bring it with you out here. And life isn't going to be as awesome. I think you need to get to the situation where everything's cool in your life and then you make the transition, because a lot of the problems will follow you out here. Yeah, I've seen it a lot with a lot of English guys that came into the industry as motorcycle technicians and they moved back home after 6 months because they haven't got their lives sorted out before they moved here. They're going home for silly reasons because they're still miserable and they're living in paradise, but they're miserable, and it's because they moved out here miserable. And I think the one thing me and Harry, my girlfriend, said to each other was, we need to get everything sorted here. We need to be happy with ourselves. We need to have a really solid situation, and then we make the move and we bring that with us rather than any bad vibes, if you like.
James and Shell moved from Manchester to the Central Coast in New South Wales and have some great advice about removing stress from your move and making new friends when you get here.
Trust your journey. The whole kind of cliche, enjoy the journey, not just the destination. I think for me, joining a community through social media was really important. Documenting our journey on social media, because like that, my Instagram page became kind of like a journal, and just to have that outlet to voice what you're going through, what stage you're at, for me was really helpful. do ask as many questions and connect with as many people as you possibly can. For me, kind of getting over here, the first thing I did, well, not the first thing I did, but one of the things I did was I went on like a retreat day because my stress levels were quite high and I enjoy yoga and meditation and stuff. I went on just a day, I just needed my feet to touch the ground. I felt like I was still flying. And in that day, I met some friends that I'm still friends with now. So I think advice for people in the journey is enjoy it, document it so you can remember it because it goes quickly. But then when you get here, try and throw yourself in feet first, because as soon as you do that, as soon as you start making connections, as soon as you start feeling like you've got a network, because I know that's what some people struggle with, finding that community and those friends and speaking to new people. So I think that's definitely something. We've got a little group of friends already. Get yourself out there straight away when you arrive, because making friends as a grown-up is hard. It helps when you've got kids because they're your like talking point a lot of the time. But do that, because we've found that Australians, especially on the Central Coast, are super friendly and everyone's interested in your journey. Everyone wants to know where you're from. A lot of people don't understand the Northern English accent and often think we're Irish, which is a bit strange. But yeah, and then obviously just enjoy it and pinch yourself. Go for a walk on the beach and say, "Oh, we live here."
I'd say definitely if you're early on in the process, go with an agent. As I said earlier, I was reluctant initially because I thought, we can do all this ourselves. But it's not just the fact that they're ticking the boxes for you. There's a network there, and then even now we're here, it's still a thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like moving your money from the UK, they can tell you who to go with. You're not digging around trying to find these people that you need.
Yeah.
You need to help you do these things. They can say, "Oh yeah, we know such a body. They recommended. They work with us for years. Use them."
Yeah.
And it just makes your life a lot easier because you've got 1,000 things to think about and sort out to get here. And if someone else is doing that for you, yes, there's a cost to it, but I'd say it's worth every single penny.
Yeah.
Just to make your life a little bit less stressful. And they can tell you where you're up to in the process as well, because sometimes you're waiting a long time and nothing's going on, and it's just nice to drop an email and they can say, "Yeah, we've done this. This is what we're waiting for. This is where you're at." As soon as we know anything. Whereas if you're doing it on your own, you just be sat twiddling your thumbs waiting for news. So yeah, that'd be my advice. Make your life as easy as you can.
Well, if you're looking to move to Australia, or you've just started thinking about moving to Australia and you don't know where to start, then the first step is to find out if you even qualify for a visa. Contrary to what most people believe, Australia isn't just one of those countries that lets anyone live here. And when we made the move more than 3.5 years ago, it was one of the hardest things we've ever done. To help you out and to plan exactly what you need to do next, speak to our friends True Blue Migration Services. And when you mention us, let them do the hard work for you in overcoming the ever-changing Australian visa system. And you get to use their free visa assessment so they can tell you exactly what you need to do to live your best life down under. They are the only MARA registered visa agency that we trust. And if you don't believe us, you can bore yourself by looking at the hundreds of positive Google reviews, but I wouldn't really recommend it unless you need help falling asleep. If we didn't use a visa agent, we'd still be stuck navigating the minefield of all the different forms and processes, and I probably would have never made the move over here and ended up being one of those people that applied for a visa to Australia and had it rejected. So speak to them today and you could be one step closer to living your best life. Caitlin, originally from America, moved over to be with her partner in Sydney. What's her great advice about moving over here on a partner visa?
There's quite a few things if you're moving over on a partner visa. Obviously for the visa itself, it's be organized. If you're even in the slightly serious stage, if you're even starting to hint at maybe one of you moving over, immediately start saving documents, start taking screenshots, start taking pictures together, post things online, because this is all stuff that the department is going to want to see if they're looking at a partner visa application. So we were lucky that we've always been posting online. We post on social media constantly. We contact each other regularly, so we would take screenshots off of WhatsApp, either of our calls or of our messages. So just make sure that you're constantly taking screenshots to provide evidence later on down the line when you do actually apply, because all of that is going to be crucial evidence for you later on. As far as actually moving over, once you actually move over, some of the biggest things you have to do is be patient and be supportive, because so many people think that it's such a burden for the person moving over, but you have to remember there's two people in a relationship when you're doing partner visas. It's not just a huge move for the person who's moving over, but for a lot of people moving over, particularly on prospective marriage visas where you maybe never lived together, or at least for an extended period of time, you're going through so many changes together. Even though you're with an Australian partner who's probably lived here for a considerable period of time, you're now living together. This is a huge part of your relationship. So you need to be patient with each other. You need to be kind. You need to be supportive. And remember that there's still a strain on the Aussie partner in this as well, not just the person who's moving over. So it really is a team effort. Even if it's one person moving over, you have to treat this like you guys are a team going against everything else with this.
Tyler and Lauren originally moved from the Midlands in the UK to Adelaide with their young family while Lauren was still pregnant. What advice do they have for any young families looking to make the move on a temporary visa?
Enjoy it. Enjoy the process. It's part of the ride. You got to be chilled out. Don't stress, because we stressed bad, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that
Stressing doesn't make it any easier.
You can't change it, so just enjoy it. And if you're still waiting for your visa grant, just don't check every day.
Yeah, and if you do really want to move and you're just worried about family, then in my head all the time, you only live once. You can't think of everyone else.
Clara and Danny managed to move to Australia on a temporary visa as Danny was able to transfer to Australia through his job. What advice do they have as young people making the move all on their own for anyone else looking to do the same?
Do it. I mean, again, it sounds sort of like what everybody says, but just going back to my saying, for me personally, it was I'd rather go for 6 months. For 6 months, spend a few £1,000, give it a go. If you've got the opportunity to do it, do it. Even if you want to just come over on a working holiday visa, come over and try it, give it a go.
Yeah.
Because you won't regret it. Like, we're in Melbourne and some people frown upon Melbourne and the weather and stuff like that, but we absolutely love it. And, we haven't been anywhere else in Australia yet, but I'm sure you could probably throw a dart at the map and wherever it lands, you'll thoroughly enjoy yourself.
Yeah. I found where I was quite sort of a homebody, I'd obviously get quite anxious going out, and like if I was going to go to London by myself, that would stress me out, and just things like that. I would just stick to doing the same thing week on week, seeing the same friends, going to the same place. And I was just kind of in a rut, wasn't I? Just 1 year, I guess, just always doing the same thing. So it's just something that really pushed me. I was like, I've had enough of this. I've had enough of being the shy, quiet person that doesn't really do much. Like, I just want to go out and be able to be that person that I want to be and just push myself completely. And like I said, I had quite a few people that were like, you're not going to do that. Like, you'll get to the airport and be like, no, yeah, it's just one of those things that I just wanted to prove to myself, like, I'm not just going to carry on living this boring life and, not really doing much, not really living.
Kim managed to finally settle in Australia on a permanent visa after spending her youth here on a working holiday. What advice does she have for anyone looking to do the same?
It depends who you are. So if you are in your 20s and you want to kind of live the city life, I would say definitely live, in the city, obviously. I know a few people who have moved straight away out in the sticks a bit and been like, this isn't the life for me. But obviously it's not the life you wanted because you've not moved to where you want to be. If you come into Melbourne, moving to Paran. I know a lot of people move to St Kilda, but personally it's not for me. It's more of a tourist backpacker place, and it's somewhere you might go for the beginning, but it's not somewhere I would suggest to live. But somewhere in the city where you can get a feel for things, where it's a good base to travel around the Great Ocean Road, Peninsula. You can get the train to loads of different places. I don't know, just think about where you're basing yourself, because I think that really has an impact of how much you're going to enjoy it.
James and Amy moved to the Gold Coast right before the final limit that they could apply for a working holiday visa. What's their advice for anyone looking to take a chance on a whim with the hope of securing permanent residency?
They should go. They should go out. Yeah. I think one of the main reasons why we wanted to come out, no, obviously we didn't want to wait any longer, but we also wanted to start our life here. We've done so much research now that we know what we're looking for. We know the coffee shops that we want to go to. We know these things. We'll just go to them then. So don't wait. And obviously there's a lot of financial reasons to obviously wait, etc. But certainly do it. If you do have the opportunity to go. I think if anyone wants to come to the Gold Coast, a bit of advice, it's a lot bigger than you think. It really is. Public transport is really good though. I'll head you out, and the beaches are exactly what you expect them to be. They are amazing. That view of the skyline, I mean, driving over to see the skyline, I'll never forget that. The Gold Coast obviously has a bit of a party reputation. We don't necessarily see that, but it is a beautiful city with some amazing opportunities and amazing people and
experiences. Is always something to do. And I think, if the thought is in your mind that you want to try something, do it.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Life is short. Very quickly I got stuck into a routine of working 55, 60-hour weeks, and accepting that was my life. Working with difficult parents, or, high staff turnover, or not meeting expectations set out by, your bosses or your company. That very quickly becomes your life, and, you just become sectioned to a cubicle. And what kind of life is that? We had that chat on a cold winter night. Let's do it. Let's give it a go. 2.5 years later, James was unfortunately made redundant, but that just literally lit a fire up us. Let's go on a working holiday visa. If it doesn't work, we've had a great time. We tried it. We haven't got any regret. That's something that's completely changed my perspective coming here, is that you don't have time to regret because you're too busy living.
So if you've been inspired by that advice and you want some practical help moving here, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and then watch this video to see exactly how much things are going to cost when you move here. I mean, if you move tomorrow, because prices are probably just going to go up. But it's really helpful.